All right, so we are going to start on our backs in constructive rest. So, and then if you like, whatever tool you're using, I use a karate belt. That's my favorite yoga strap. Whatever tool you're using tonight, just have it kind of nearby so that you don't have to scramble to find it when the time comes. And I'm going to give you a couple of different options to use it. So you use it or don't use it, that'll be totally up to you, but just have it available in case you want to. So come down onto your back, step your feet out nice and wide, let your knees drop in towards each other, and then just take a little time here. Give your body a moment or two to find its way. Take those little moments to readjust. Make sure your hair feels like it's in a nice position, your clothes are in a nice position, and your feet are in a good, happy situation so that they feel comfortable, and you can start to relax the tops of your feet and relax your toes. Hey, MJ, you made it. MJ, we need a yoga strap tonight, and we're starting on our backs in constructive rest. So take your time as you come on into the room. And then as you start to find your way into this constructive rest position, if it's at all available, just let your eyes close down for a moment. And then through the lens of your closed eyes, you might notice some filtered light or some colors or anything that's behind the eyelids, but take the time here just to notice. Just notice the splashes of light, the splashes of color with your eyes closed down. And as you tune in and pay attention to that, let your breath slow down a little bit. Let your mind quiet down a little bit. And then kind of get a feeling of that solid floor beneath you and that openness or spaciousness above you. And then even with your eyes closed, get a sense of the walls around you, the ceiling above you, and offer up a little gratitude for the safe space that you have to work in. Give just a little bit more time here. Allow your feet to soften. If you're holding any tension in your toes, see if you can let that go. If you're holding any tension around your belly button, see if you can let that go. And then allow a few more moments here to just let your arms be heavy, your chest soft and heavy. If you picked up any tension in your jaw, your cheekbones or around your temples, see if you can let those spaces relax just a little bit. And then before we move away from this place of stillness, take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. Nice. And then with that intention set, we're just going to take a couple of gentle windshield wipers with the knees. So start with a small bit of movement and then slowly allow the range of motion to increase. So give it a little time. Let your hips find a little bit of warmth. And then as you find that extra bit of range of motion, take it as far as feels good. Find a nice rhythm that feels good to you, but kind of tune in here. How are your knees feeling? How are your hips feeling? How are your ankles feeling? Take one more windshield wiper each side And then as you come back to center, you're going to walk your feet in a little bit closer so that they're about hip width distance apart. And now here's the first place where I'm going to offer you up the use of your yoga strap or your TheraBand or whatever it is you're working with, as long as you have a little bit of length. If you don't have a little bit of length, it's just going to be knees to chest, and you're going to find a comfortable handhold here. And we are going to hold this for 3 minutes. Now, if you can find a comfortable handhold here without using your yoga strap, awesome. Option number 1 is to take the yoga strap and just bring it right across the shins or the knees, and then just with a little bit of a handhold, let your elbows get heavy towards the ground. That way you don't have to effort too much wrapping the arms around. The other option is to kind of pick your butt up, take your strap underneath you, and then as you pull the knees into your chest, you're going to crisscross it around the knees, and then you're going to kind of tuck the tails into each other. And this is going to create just a little bit of a tension so that you can hold on with the yoga strap and let your arms fall out at your sides. So if that feels like a nicer way to go without having to use your hands to hold on, lift your butt, tuck your strap underneath you, and then tie it around. Tuck your little tails in. Doesn't have to be overly complicated, but once you've got a situation, both knees into the chest, whatever works good for you, once you found your way here, just invite a little softness in. So if you're going hands free, if you've got your little tool wrapped around, let your arms kind of just fall out of your side with the palms facing up. But if you've got a handhold, then you might choose to just maybe interlace your fingers so that you can soften and let your arms be heavy. And think of this as kind of an upside down child's pose. So knees are together. There's a little bit of compression against the belly. And then see if you can just kind of tune in and notice the physical action of breath in your body here. We're already halfway through our hold here, so just take a moment to assess. If you're too labored in your breath, or if there's too much constriction of the breath, you might choose to open up just a little bit and create some space. But if all is feeling good, soften your shoulders, soften your jaw. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and gently release. Now, if you've got your yoga strap tied around or tucked in, go ahead and take a second to release it and then float your feet down to the ground. If it was tucked under your butt, lift your hips up, move your strap or your TheraBand or whatever you've got out from underneath you. And then once your feet find the ground, just take a couple of gentle windshield wipers here. Small, gentle motions to start, and then increase your range of motion just a little bit. Take one more swish of the knees side to side, and then we're going to use our strap. So use your towel, your strap, your TheraBand, whatever you've got, and we're going to catch hold of the bottom of the right foot. So we're going to get a little bit of a hamstring stretch here, or that's where we're going to feel sensation. But if you have tight hamstrings, I want you to keep that super generous bend in your knee. And then left leg can be bent if that feels like a more restful position, or you can extend the left leg nice and long if that feels like a better way to go. Once you've got a handhold of that foot and your left leg is figured out, then you decide just how deep you want the stretch to go. So I'm going to keep mine pretty light, let my elbows get heavy, and I've already got plenty of sensation in the back of the leg. So soften your shoulders, make sure everything feels like it's nicely arranged. And you want to keep a little bit of a tug in the back of that leg, but not to the point where you're feeling anything up in the butt. So if you're feeling any zinging up into your glutes, soften it up just a little bit more. But if all is feeling good, once you've got a good handhold, and there is a little bit of efforting holding onto your strap, so just make sure that it's a comfortable enough position. And then see if you can relax your left foot, your left leg, the leg that's extended on the floor. See if you can soften your shoulders down just a little bit. We're halfway through our hold on this leg, so just do a quick little assess, make sure everything is feeling good, you're breathing comfortably. If you've lost sensation in the back of the leg, you always have the option to tug it in a little bit closer to the heart. But if it feels like it's become just a little too much, you always have the option to move it away from you just a little bit. So make sure you keep yourself in that comfortable state of work so you're feeling sensation, but you're not efforting in your breath. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, soften your knee. And we're just going to take a couple of bends and straightens of the leg just to kind of floss it out a little bit. Make sure the back of the leg feels good. And then once you feel like you've kind of worked out that little bit of dull ache that you may have come across, we're going to switch sides. So lift your left leg up to meet, step your foot right into your strap, and then set your other leg down. You can keep the knee bent or extend it nice and long, just whatever feels better to you. And then once you've got hold of that foot, you're going to rearrange your handhold so you get that gentle tug in the back of the leg, but no zinging up into your glutes. So if you're feeling anything in your butt, relax your position just a little bit. But if it's all feeling good, let your elbows be a little bit heavy. Soften your jaw. Soften your right leg. We're halfway through our hold on this side, so just check in. Check with your breath first. Make sure you can take a nice full inhalation and a slow but natural exhalation. And then just notice if you've lost sensation, you might choose to pull the leg in a little bit closer. And then if it's become a little too much, you might choose to move it away from you. Take one more breath here. And then soften your grip, soften your knee, take a couple of bends and straightens of that leg just to bring out any of that dull ache you may have come across. Floss out the back of the leg. And then once you feel like you've got all of that worked out, release your foot from your strap or your band, set your foot down, bend both knees, take a gentle windshield wiper or two just to kind of soothe everything out. And then we're going to come up to a seated position. So take your time as you come on up. And we're going to take it into a half butterfly, half wide leg stretch. So one leg is going to come into a bent leg position. One leg is going to come out to the side. So we want to find that external rotation, but bending one knee. And then we're going to take it into a fold. So from here, you just fold yourself forward to a depth that feels appropriate to you. And then soften. And you want to check that leg that's extended, the leg that's out nice and wide. Let the toes kind of fall in with you. So as you take that fold forward, your hips rotate slightly forward. Let your leg move with you as well. In our yin posture, since we're looking to find that work in the connective tissue and the plastic tissue, so think ligaments and joints. So we want to make sure we soften the muscles just as much as we can so that we can get to the places that we're trying to shoot for. So if you notice you pick up any tension in your inner thigh, the muscle around your knee, see if you can soften there. Soften around your hips and soften your feet. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up, but we're going to keep those legs in the position that they are and move right into our next pose. So keeping your legs as they are. Now the leg that's bent, that top arm is going to reach up and we're going to take a little side bend here. I like to take my elbow to the inside of my inner thigh so I can kind of wedge against it a little bit, just so I can find that little bit of little hook for my elbow. But if that doesn't feel good, you place your arm wherever it feels right to you. Top arm is reaching up. We want that side bend, but if that top arm becomes too heavy, just kind of tuck it behind you so you can still get a little bit of opening through the shoulder and the side body, but without too much effort. So you choose your own adventure with that top arm. If it becomes too much, you just let it come down wherever feels the best. Once you've got your way here, what we're shooting for is to find a little sensation down in the low back side body area. So about where the side body meets the hip and then kind of around that low back area. So if you can find sensation there, awesome. And then once you feel like you've got a good little side bend going on, soften your gaze and come back to your breath. Just take a nice generous inhale and a slow exhale. And we're halfway through our hold here. So just take a second to assess it. Make sure you're breathing comfortably. If that top arm has become too much, just maybe tuck it behind you so you still get that side bend, but without the effort of the arm. If it feels good to be there, leave it just as it is. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly bring yourself up. If that arm is up and overhead, take your time as you release it and then shrug that shoulder out and then send both legs out in front of you. And we're just going to give a little swish of the knees just to kind of soothe out anything that may be there. Once you feel like you've got all of that worked out, we're going to swing those legs around to the other side and then move right back into that half butterfly, half wide position with the forward fold. So you're going to walk yourself out again to a depth that feels right to you and let your hips move a little bit with you and let your toes move a little bit with you. Once you found your folded position, invite some softness back in. Notice if you've picked up or any gripping or tension in your toes. See if you can soften your toes, soften your feet, soften your hands. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to walk yourself back up and out of that fold, but keep your legs as they are. And then we'll move right into the next pose. So bring your elbow to the inside of that inner thigh if that feels like a good way to go. Reach your top hand up. And then any other variation from there if you like. So it does not have to be hooked. You can also hold onto your foot or come behind. And then that top arm, if it's just a little too much to be overhead. And one shoulder might be totally different than the other. One shoulder might feel really great to have it lifted, and then the other one might require just a little bit extra care. So just make sure that you do the variation for your body. That works great. We're halfway through our hold on this side, so just check in with that top arm, make sure it's feeling good. If it feels like it's become too much or too heavy, just bring it behind you or let it rest wherever feels most comfortable, just maintaining a little bit of side bend if you can find that. Take one more breath here. And then slowly bring yourself up and out. If that top arm was up and overhead, shrug out your shoulder. Give everything a little wiggle, wiggle your ribs a little bit, and then swing both legs in, both knees bent, and take a couple little windshield wipers just to kind of soothe everything out. Awesome. And then from here, we're going to find our way into tabletop position. We're going to move right into puppy pose. So swing your legs around, come onto all fours, take your time as you find your way there. And if you need to double stack your mat to cushion your knees or anything like that, take a second to do that. So you want to make sure that it's in a really nice, comfortable position. And then once you've got yourself all set up there, we're just going to walk our hands towards the top edge of our mat. A nice wide position with the arms. So think about walking your hands to the outer edges of your mat as you walk them forward, and then let your chest and your forehead sink down just as far as they like to go. And then just depending on the variations in your shoulders, if your elbows can soften down to the ground, and if your forehead can soften down to the ground, go ahead and let it. We're about halfway through our hold here, so just check in. If you've picked up a lot of tension up in the shoulders and the armpit chest area, see where in those areas can you soften the muscle tissue, soften your jaw. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself back up to a tabletop position. And then once you come up into that tabletop position, take a couple of gentle cat cows here. Inhale as you drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale and round your back. And if you like, pause in that rounded back position just to create that little space in the shoulders and then move right back into it. Find that gentle fluid movement. Just create a little space in the shoulder blades as well. Nice. Take one more cat cow here. And then we're just going to take a toe stretch before we find our way back down to the ground. So curl both sets of toes under, draw your butt back to your heels just to a point where you feel a nice little stretch in the toes and the bottoms of the feet. And then once you're there, pause. Let your butt get kind of heavy. Soften your belly, soften your shoulders. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, lift your butt away from your heels, release your toes, and just kind of pick your feet up off the ground and give them a little wiggle. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your ankles, just a little bit of gentle movement there. And then once you feel like you've kind of got that worked out, swing your legs around. We're flipping back onto our back side, and we're going to move into a supine twist. So scoot your way down to the ground. Take your time as you come down. And then when you feel ready, pull the left knee in toward your chest. And just for your own body's awareness, sometimes pulling the knee up higher to the chest is a great way to kind of get around if you've got any sciatica stuff going on. But you can also bring it just to hip line and then take your supine twist there. So you can choose to take it as high to the chest as feels comfortable or keep it in a lower position, whatever feels good. Find your supine twist. We're going to take that left knee over and across the body. Let your left arm open out nice and wide. Take a second to let everything arrange itself in a nice, comfortable way, and then invite some softness in. Soften the muscles around your ribs. Soften your feet. Take a moment to assess if you're holding any tension in your shoulders or your jaw. See if you can soften there. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and gently bring that left knee into your chest. We're going to hug it in, but slide the right leg in so that it's in a bent knee position. We're going to move right into a figure four from here. So bring your left leg across the right. Find a figure four shape first. See how this feels. You might be happy here. This might be enough. If this feels like it's enough, stay here. If it feels like you want just a little bit more, you're going to lift the right leg up. Thread your hands through, grab a handhold that works good for you. So you might choose the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, and then draw the legs in just a little bit and allow a little time to let space work for you here. So invite some softness into your belly, softness into your chest, and then slowly as you start to ease your way in, then let your arms get heavy and draw the legs in closer, but only if that feels good. We want to make sure you're breathing comfortably the whole time here. Notice if your shoulders have started to round and lift towards the ceiling. Can you let your shoulders soften? And then notice if you've picked up any tension in your belly or around the belly button. See if you can let your belly be soft. Take one more breath here. And then before we release those legs down to the ground, soften up your position. Take your figure four, draw it in a couple of circles, go in one direction. Take your figure four, draw it in circles, go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, release your handhold, release your legs, step both feet down, and then pause just for a moment to notice. Notice how one side feels a little different than the other. And then we're going to move on into our supine twist. So pulling that left knee into the chest, extend your right leg nice and long, and take your supine twist up. I said the wrong thing. Take the other knee into your chest, over and across the body. Find your supine twist and then soften into that shape. Take a moment to assess if you've picked up tension in your feet. See if you can soften your feet. See if you can soften the muscles around your ribs. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully release. Pull that right knee into your chest, slide your left leg in, and we're going to move right into our figure four from here. Take your right across the left, pause with the foot on the ground, and notice how it feels. This might be enough. If this is enough, stay right here. If it feels like you want a little bit more, lift your left leg up, thread your hands through, and then find a comfortable handhold. So maybe you choose the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, just whatever grab works for you, but leave a little space here before you draw them into before you draw them into your edge. Create a little space, allow just a little bit of time to let your breath work for you. Let your abdomen be soft, so let your breath come in and fill your belly up, and then let your shoulders soften with your exhale. Take one more breath here. And then soften up your handhold just a little bit. Take your figure four, draw it in circles, go in one direction. Awesome. And then take your figure four, draw it in circles, go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, slowly and gently release your feet to the ground, step your right foot off, pause just for a moment, notice how everything feels, and then take some gentle windshield wipers. We're going to finish with a little legs up the wall. So as we say legs up the wall, if you want to take your shavasana in legs up the wall, you might choose to actually find a wall, scoot your butt nice and close to it, and throw your legs up the wall. But if you want to finish in a different position, then just take your legs, lift them up towards the sky, keep a soft bend in the knees and a soft position of the feet. And then just let your hands come out at your sides. We're not going to stay here for a full 3 minutes, but we're just going to take a couple of nice deep breaths here. So think about letting your feet be soft, legs be soft, belly soft. Take a nice full inhalation. Nice slow exhalation. Start to gently wiggle your toes and move your ankles. But if you are up against a wall and you're going to take your shavasana with legs up the wall, leave your feet in a still position. But if you're going to come out of this position, start to gently move your feet just a little bit. Deepen your breath just a little bit. And then when you feel ready, slowly start to bring your feet back down to the ground. Take your time as you bring them down. And then ask yourself, where would be your best shavasana? Would it feel good to come back to constructive rest? Would it feel good to walk your feet nice and long? And then especially if you're in a colder space or a cool room, throw your sweater on, throw your socks on, or throw a blanket on so you feel really nice and cozy so that you don't come out of your shavasana all cold and stiff. Find a position that works good for you and then give your body a second again. Let yourself work out all those little wiggles. Make sure your clothes are comfortable, your hair is comfortable, your body is in a comfortable position. And then before you even shut your eyes down or slow anything down, take a moment to come back to that awareness of the floor beneath you, ceiling above you, walls around you. And then knowing that you're in that safe space, allow your eyes to close down if it feels good. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Soften your toes and the soles of your feet. Soften the tops of your feet and let your heels be nice and heavy. Soften your calves and your shins. Let your knees be soft. Let your thighs become soft and heavy. Soften your hips. Release any gripping or tension that you might be holding there. Soften your belly and your low back. Allow your rib cage to get soft into the ground. Let your chest and your shoulders be soft and heavy. Let your arms and your hands get heavy. Soften your fingers. Soften the back of your neck. Soften your jaw. Let your eyes be soft and heavy. And soften the space between your eyes. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Become aware of the floor beneath you, and if it feels good to do so, gently rock your head side to side. Invite some gentle movement into your fingers, some gentle movement into your toes. And then start to bring some bigger movements in. Maybe move your ankles, move your wrists, move your knees, move your hips. Any bit of gentle movement here that reawakens you and feels good. And then if it feels really great to do so, take it into that big good morning stretch. Stretch your feet long, stretch your arms up and overhead. Take a nice full breath back into your body. And then in your own way, at your own pace, find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So you might choose to rock and roll up or roll to one side, whatever gets you there, but feels nice. Awesome. And then as you come back up to that comfortable position, we're going to just get a handhold on the chest. So if you are wearing clothes and everything is all covered, if you like, just kind of scoot your hand, and what you want to feel is just that little bit of connect, skin to skin, if you can find it. So stack one hand on the heart, and then the other hand is going to stack right on top of that hand. And then we're going to push in just a little bit so we feel that connection. And then with that little bit of push inward, draw some gentle circles, go in one direction, just go move with the skin. So it's not a big harmful tug, but you might feel that skin move underneath you, circle in one direction. And if you like, close your eyes down once you've got it on, you got it figured out, you know what you're doing, just allow your hands to move. Take one more circle around in this direction, and then keeping your eyes closed, circle the other way. Beautiful. Take one more circle around in this direction, and then let that come to stillness. Soften your handhold just a little bit, bow your head to your heart. Take a nice full breath in. Nice slow breath out. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. Take another nice full inhale and allow your shoulders to shrug up just a little bit. And then as you exhale, let your shoulders soften your jaw, and think about letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your night. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Monday.